Hey, what's up, guys? It's Randall from OddsJam. I've got Matt with me today from OddsJam as well. We are going to go over some plus EV plays. I'm going to grade my bets from last night, and then I'm going to look at the positive EV page, kind of focus on the main lines, college basketball, NFL, see what's out there for positive EV bets kind of this morning, I guess, early afternoon today. And then I'll toss it over to Matt. He's going to take a look at some player props. Hopefully we can place some bets here while we're on air. If not, we can at least give you some bets for you to place that are profitable. So we'll go ahead and get started here. I'm going to share my screen. We'll hop over here to the plus EV page on OddsJam. Actually, we'll hop back to the beginning. We need to grade our bets from yesterday. Place 3 yesterday on the live stream. San Diego State -4 against Boise State. They did a great job of sending college basketball back about 50 years with a 42-37 final. I don't know if you saw that score or not, Matt, but that was brutal.
That is terrible. Wow, yeah. That's a first half score.
Yeah, absolutely. First half score, and I mean 42-37. If you're laying any amount of points there, it's bad news. Yeah. San Diego State lost out right there, and then we had the under 135.5 VCU St. Joseph's. That one ended up getting home, so we'll mark that as a win. You can see all three of these plays. Well, actually, I mean, I guess it's 11, 12, 13, 14. I mean, 16 plays in a row. We're beating the closing line. I mean, this play here was live, so you can throw that out. But, I mean, 16 straight plays beating the closing line. Results are not there, but – I mean, continuing to beat the closing line, it's going to work out eventually. Here's another hockey game under 5.5. I'm not sure, since I've been betting EV hockey plays this year, I'm not sure that I've actually won an EV hockey play. So not sure why that is. But anyway, we hop back over here. We can see we're down 60. Since I've been doing this, betting smaller numbers or betting smaller amounts just to show you that you can be profitable. Again, say this every day. Ideally, you want to bet more than 1 or 2 plays or even 3 plays like I'm doing on the stream. I think yesterday I bet like 12 plays in college basketball. So you definitely need to be betting more. That's where you're going to see the math really work out. You can see we're beating the closing line 85% of the time. That's huge. Also, as you all know, I am in Illinois, so I do not have access to as many sports books as Matt does over in Virginia, which is very, very important. We talk about it every single day. You need to have multiple sports books. You need to have multiple outs. Doing so allows you to get the best of the number. If you're not sure what sports books are in your states, I've got those listed below, so you can just check below this video. Plenty of sign-up links. Take advantage of those promos. I was actually talking to Matt this morning. I think we're maybe going to make a trip to Colorado and take advantage of
there we go,
of those sign-up bonuses. Mile High City.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be fun.
So just taking a look here. It looks like Oregon-Washington, pretty big market game. DraftKings is -110, Pinnacle's -132. We're getting 3% of expected value. I showed this yesterday on the stream, Kenny White's power ratings. Again, this is not something that you guys have to have in order to be successful, but I do like to just kind of compare these lines with Kenny, who is a former odds maker. You can see he makes this total about 136.5. Hop back over here. We can go ahead and take a look, though. We can see what the other books have this set at. Again, another nice thing about OddsJam, being able to compare multiple sports books, even the ones that are not in your state. You can see over 140 is -125 on Barstool. We're getting -110 on Caesars. DraftKings -125 on Parks, -132 again at Pinnacle. It looks like, for the most part, this line is 140.5 on Ballybet, 141 at some of these other books. So, I mean, it looks like the general consensus is kind of 141.5 across the board. I mean, BetMGM, Borgata minus 110, minus 105 on Fox Bet. So, I mean, this looks like a pretty good play just based on what I am seeing outside of Kenny's ratings. But 3% expected value, I think it's worth the play. So we'll hop over here. We will hit this over 140 minus 110 on DraftKings. We'll throw 25 on that. We'll hop back over here to the Plus EV page. There's the Oregon game. So over 140 minus 110 DraftKings Caesars. If you have those sports books, lock that in. Profitable bet here. We'll go ahead and save that. Continuing to scroll, as you can see, I mean, we're getting into some lower expected value here. Like I said earlier, Matt's going to show you guys some bets or some player props that are profitable. Hopefully we can find some of those for you. I do really like this here, the Hornets and the Hawks, minus 116 plus 105. You don't see this a whole lot. 9-cent difference in the market with. Matt, you're kind of an NBA guy.
Yeah, that's a high total.
Yeah, very high total. I know the Hornets don't play a lot of defense.
Yeah, neither do the Hawks.
Yeah, and the Hawks don't either. But market width alone, you're not going to see this a whole lot. 9-cent difference, very, very tight market. Minus 105 to the under on BetMGM or Borgata. If I had either one of these books, I would definitely.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and lock this in as we speak.
Okay, Matt's going to bet it. So I would definitely bet this as well if I could. I mean, the under third, where we at? 236.5 minus 105. You can see it's minus 137 over at Betfair, minus 120 on Barstool, minus 125 on DraftKings, minus 122 on FanDuel. I mean, just a ton of value. Again, one other thing you can do with OddsJam and with the Platinum plan is you can compare books like Bookmaker, Circa. So we can see here, Bookmaker sets this line at 235. So it's minus 110 at 235. Circa, see if I can find Circa here. So it looks like Circa is 236.5. So they're kind of in line, I guess, with what BetMGM has. But this is a really, really solid play. It's definitely the outlier. So if you can get that down under 236.5. Hawks, Hornets, definitely two teams that don't play defense like Matt mentioned, but the value and the very, very tight market is definitely there. Monmouth, Manhattan, Manhattan plus 9.5. Looks like as a plus EV play, 23-cent difference in the market. Again, we can look at that. We can just see these ratings. Kenny makes it around 11. ESPN's another place I like to look. I actually personally like Monmouth in this game. Monmouth 10 on ESPN, so pretty well spot on. Maybe Manhattan's worth the play. You are getting 6% of expected value. It does fit that range of 15 to 25 cents on the market width. I do also want to point out, somebody asked about the market width earlier today. Do you only play those within the 15 to 25 cent range? And the answer is no. For player props, I do go higher. And also for anything less than that, just like we showed on that NBA game. I mean, anything less than that, I will actually bet more than what I normally would on that particular game, just because the market width is there. Here again, 2.4% under 237.5. You've got a 14-cent difference in the market width in that NBA game. Hawks, Hornets, 236.5 was another one, but again, very, very tight market. I think this one just popped up. I didn't catch that one earlier as we were scrolling. Tampa Bay and the Rams over 46.5. 17-cent difference here in the market with very, very tight. Would definitely lean to betting this over. Minus 120 on MGM. Think that's got some value there. Just kind of continuing to scroll, not seeing a whole lot. Got a 20-cent difference here in Merrimack Wagner over 126.5. So a smaller market game. We can check out these ratings and see 121.5 is what Kenny makes that. Again, not the end all be all, just a tool that I like to use. I'm going to go ahead and refresh this page. We'll take a look here at a couple more. Then I'll pass it over here to Matt, and he can check out some player props for today. You can see we've got some live odds here starting to pop up. Some games are underway. $9 a day gets you access to these. You can see 10% EV play on the Knicks Clippers game with Nicholas Batum over and over under 1.5 assists. It looks like the over has the value there. Also, you can see live arbs. Let's hop over here to New Jersey real quick and just see if there are any. So there's some live arbs that are up. Julius Randall assists, Fox Bet DraftKings, direct arb here with the assists on the over. We talked about that earlier. So yeah, you buy this $9 a day, you get access to all of these live odds. You can place those bets while the games are going. You do have to be quick, and you can see all of them are now gone. So you definitely have to be quick whenever you are betting these. Speed is everything. It can be stressful when it comes to betting the live odds, whether it's plus EV or the ARBs. So take one last look here at the positive EV page for the main lines. Just see if anything stands out. It looks like the over 7 in the Blue Jackets Senators has a little bit of value, 24-cent difference on that particular market. Indiana minus 1.5 against Michigan has some value, 26 cents. Do like Indiana a little bit in this spot. I will say I worry a little bit about Purdue, or they beat Purdue. So coming off of that win, that line does seem a little bit short. I thought Indiana would be favored a little bit higher in that game. When you look at it, you can see the spread, I believe, is Indiana minus 3 or 4. So I thought this would be Indiana maybe minus 5, 5.5. But nonetheless, some value there on Indiana in the first half. Again, positive EV is not it's not my opinion, or at least my opinion should not go into betting these one way or the other, but you can always do a little bit of extra research on these games, clicking into them, seeing where the value is in comparison to the other books. So looks to be about it. One last one here, Quinnipiac and Iona. Iona minus 10. I actually bet this earlier at 9. When you check these ratings, you can see pretty well spot on there. I talked about this last Sunday when I was live. Iona here, spot on again. I talked about this last Sunday, though. For whatever reason, in college basketball, I've noticed this over the years. Been doing it a very, very long time. Favorites on Sunday generally tend to roll, especially the double-digit faves. So I know they're not a double-digit fave in this spot. This is an alternate line. But favorites in college basketball on Sundays, like I said, usually tend to roll. Memphis here, plus 5.5. This one last play here. Just want to talk about this. Saw it pop up. 19-cent difference in the market with Tulsa is at home. Tulsa, for many years, was one of the best teams in the land at home. One of the best home courts when it came to betting. So plus 5.5 there, minus 110 on MGM. Memphis, for whatever reasons, always seems to screw around in games like this. So I think Tulsa there plus 5.5 has some value on MGM or Borgata. You can take a look at this, or I'll look for you. You can see Memphis minus 3 according to Kenny, and Memphis minus 4 on ESPN. So, and that game is on ESPN. So yeah, if you can get down on that, Tulsa plus 5.5, do like that. Tulsa as a home dog, as a plus EV play, 2.2%. So I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to Matt. I've rambled enough. I'm sure Sure, he's ready to roll. So, Matt, you can go ahead and share your screen. Matt's going to give you guys some player props here in the NFL
Sure.
that are profitable if you want to bet those.
Yeah. So I actually, funny enough, I bet that Memphis Providence game or Tulsa game that you're mentioning.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tulsa
Yeah,
plus 5.5. Book it.
Yeah, I locked that in this morning. But yeah, so as Randall said, I'm in Virginia, so I have like 8 or 9. I have a decent amount of sports books available to me. So my positive EV page is always popping, which is lovely. So I'll refresh it just to make sure, and then we can go through it. So as Randall said, the general rule of thumb for player props, the market width, you kind of increase up to about 40 cents as opposed to the 15 to 25. So it looks like we do have a decent amount of options here. The first one being the Fournette over 4.5 receptions. So OddsJam Perfect Line has that at -122. Looks like on FanDuel that's at +114 for a 10% positive EV play. So for me, that's a pretty big bet based on my Kelly criterion method in my bankroll. That's about a $90 play for me because I just always round up into numbers of 5 just to kind of make things even. So let me log into my FanDuel account and I'll lock this one in. And for football reasons, that makes sense because Fournette, for whatever reason, has just been a dump-off machine for Brady. I mean, there's some games you'll have up to 8, 9 receptions.
I'm locking it in as well. Logging in.
Love it. All right. Receiving props, total receptions. Fournette. Oh, it looks like the line's changed, unfortunately. Looks like it's at -106 now. Maybe I can get it at an alt line.
Yeah, I'm looking. I don't know if they offer an alternate on that.
Yeah, I don't think they do.
Yeah, one thing that though worth pointing out, and I know Alex has done this as well. Sometimes you can find alternate markets, and you can get a better number. So it's definitely worth looking into. Yeah.
Yeah, I've noticed that if you click in, especially on FanDuel, if you click into the same game parlay.
Yep.
Sometimes but I don't see anything for Fournette reception. So it looks like the line just must have moved there. No problem. So next one looks like it's on the Mahomes under passing completions under 25.5. So this one looks like it's about 30 points or 30 cents a market width. OddsJam Perfect Line has it at -124. Caesars, I get that at +105. Still a decent amount of plus EV there, over 6%. So let me log into my Caesars account. And that just highlights the importance that Randall mentioned of hopping on a line. Because eventually when the lines get bet, they can just change rapidly, especially if you're betting it live. As the game goes on, they just change very, very rapidly.
Yeah, and I will say, I know you know this as well. FanDuel, for all of you that don't know, FanDuel is one of the quickest to move lines. So if you're slow to the race, you're definitely going to miss out on some of those.
All right, so let's see. Mahomes under 25.5 completions. Yeah, so that one's still there. Looks like that was a $60 play for me. And I have about 64 left in my Caesars account, so that's perfect.
Place too many bets. Get too much money out there.
I know. As the week goes on, I can tend to just load some of these positive EV plays. All right, so it looks like another one did pop up. What's that? 36 points of market width, 36 cents. So that one's still good. Looks like it's on the Mahomes over rushing yards. For football reasons, I like that one. I'm going to take this one on Bet Rivers because I'm pretty sure I'm limited on Barstool. I've noticed Mahomes, whenever it's a bigger game, that obviously a must-win game for the Chiefs, he always tends to scramble more. I think everybody remembers that long touchdown run he had against the Titans in the championship game a couple years ago. If you remember that.
Yep, I do remember that one.
At the end of the half, yeah.
What was the line on that one? I'm gonna lock that in on Barstool. It was
Mahomes over 25.5 rushing yards at -113. So OddsJam Perfect Line had that at -152. So it's about a 6.5% plus EV play.
I like it. There it is.
Where's that? Player rushing. Mahomes under 25.5.
Under or over?
Or sorry, over. Sorry.
Over. Okay. Just
Sorry.
want to make sure. I just bet the over.
No, sorry. I didn't mean to scare you. All right. Bet has been placed. Mahomes over 25.5 rushing yards minus 113. So let me go ahead and add that one. I took this on Bet Rivers. And let's go through. So it looks like there's one that I locked in on Caesars. That's one of the bets that contributed to my low amount of money on Caesars is Josh Allen passing attempts over 36.5. Looks like that's 31 cents of market width plus 105 on Caesars. Like I said, I already locked this in, but that would be about a $55 to $60 play, depending if you want to round up or down. And for football reasons, I love this. I mean, the Bills passed the crap out of the ball in an important game. I think it was last year in the playoffs, they started a game with 17 straight passes. I'm pretty sure Dable just loves to throw the ball. So
Yeah.
over passing attempts. All right, I already locked it in. I think that's a great bet. And then I'll highlight these last two above 5% on for the player props. Looks like the next one, Higbee longest reception under 17.5. So looks like that's about 36 cents of market width. FanDuel has that at minus 113. OddsJam perfect line minus 148, which makes that another $60 play for me. So let's hope I can get this on FanDuel before it changes. Yeah, I have noticed the most trouble with FanDuel on lines changing before I'm able to lock it in.
Yeah, they definitely can move here. Higbee under 17.5 minus 113. Is that the line?
Yes, that is correct.
Yep. Looks like it's on there. I'm going to lock that one in as well.
Perfect.
Still available under 17.5. I do kind of like that. I mean, I think he's definitely a red zone guy. I mean, they do look for him in the passing game, but I think he's definitely a red zone threat more than anything. Hopefully nothing over 17.5 yards.
Yeah, I locked that in as well. Yeah, he's not their deep threat. That's
right.
They got Beckham, they got Cooper Kupp.
Absolutely.
Van Jefferson, I like. And then they had Deshaun Jackson, but they cut him. And then, so this one doesn't meet the market width. It's about 45. Although Van Jefferson, I did just hype him up. Looks like his under is also a play on FanDuel, under 18.5 longest reception. So OddsJam perfect line is that at minus 106, plus 18 on FanDuel. Some pretty good value. I mean, I always love taking player props for plus money. So
what's Matt, just for all these people watching, what's your limit on the player props? You like to find things 4% and above, 5% and above. Is there anything you look for in player props? I know a lot of people have questions about those in regard to the EV percentage.
Yeah, that's a good question. So it depends. For like if I'm looking at an NBA slate where there's a ton of games to choose from, I'll limit it to 7% and above. Because normally, I mean, I did a live stream on Friday, and there was 8 plays I had that were all 7% and above for player props. On a game like day like today, where I'm only choosing between 2 games, I'll probably limit it to 5% and above.
5 and above.
Yeah, because for player props, as you know, they can be a little more variant. So I like to. Yeah. I don't want to. I mean, you could go all day. These is just looking at 2 NFL games, and there's probably, I don't know, 10, 15 player props, maybe a little bit less. And it's just a little more variance. So I like to keep it safe and do 5% and above.
Makes sense.
Looks like one did pop up. 42 Cam Akers over 17.5 receiving yards. Right on the limit that is on Caesar, so I don't even have the funds for it. That would be a $115 play for me. I don't hate it. I mean, Cam Akers coming back from the torn Achilles has been getting more and more run, but just over the market width, and I don't have the funds in my Caesars account, so I'll skip these last 2. And then the last one, Van Jefferson under 18.5. That's still on FanDuel. For plus money, I'll make that my last play of the day. Longest reception under. Yeah, it's still there. So that's a $40 play for me. Lock that in. And what was that? 3 or 4 bets we placed?
Yep.
Cool. Well, yeah. So it looks like nothing else popped up since I locked in the last one. So overall player props, if you've been following me on the channel, it's one of my favorite things to bet. I love betting player props. I always found that you can find a ton of value in it. The risk is just obviously it's a little more variant. So that's why I always limit myself to 7% above or 5% above if it's a limited options.
Yeah, and like we've said, or I've mentioned earlier, multiple books. With Matt being in Virginia, I mean, having access, you can just see to MGM, WinBet's on there. I know it's not a play, but WinBet shows up. Caesars. I mean, these are all books that you need to have. Unibet. I mean, here in Illinois, I'm limited to Barstool, DraftKings, FanDuel, and then PointsBet, which PointsBet usually doesn't have a whole lot to offer as far as plus EV bets go. But if you're doing the arbitrage, there are some opportunities there. Again, all of these links for all of these books in your states are listed below. Be sure to take advantage of those. If you have any questions, you can email me. You can email Matt. It's Matthew@oddsjam.com, Randall@oddsjam.com. If you have any questions, Matt, anything else you wanted to discuss? Pretty piss poor effort from the Green Bay Packers last night. I know somebody had a comment about all my Packers futures, and yeah, they're up in flames. Aaron Rodgers is a fraud. I'm not sure what else there really is to say. I don't understand the third down pass where you threw it 30, 40 yards in the air and you needed 7 yards, and then you punt the ball, and San Francisco goes on to win the game. But, props to San Fran for going into Lambeau in that weather and getting the win. Yet another choke job by Aaron Rodgers.
I know.
And the Green Bay Packers. It's going to be interesting to see what the offseason holds. I think there's going to be a lot of movement. Russell Wilson, talks of him. Who knows what happens with Deshaun Watson? Does Rodgers stay? I think it's going to be a very, very interesting offseason in the NFL. And I guess at this point, I'm rooting for San Francisco to win. I've got a few friends that are San Fran fans. Bengals, cool story.
Yeah, impressive win.
Yeah, absolutely. Another impressive win. In the playoffs, really outside of, I think, that game yesterday with Green Bay, San Fran. I mean, you take the better quarterback, and it's kind of been the theme of the playoffs. The better quarterback is winning these games. I mean, I think Joe Burrow's definitely better than Ryan Tannehill. He was better than Carr, and it'll be interesting to see what happens in these games today. I mean, from a personal standpoint, there's no way I can back the Rams in this spot. I hate this team, but I mean, something just tells me that they go in there and find a way to win. And I do lean Kansas City on the money line against the Bills, but on paper, I don't know that's really a great matchup. And then there's not much out there as far as plus EV goes, at least that I've looked. So that's just my opinion. If I were picking today, I'd be taking the Rams plus the 3 and the Chiefs on the money line. You got any opinion on either one of those?
Yeah, I agree with you on both of them. In my preview video, I had my prediction. I think the Rams win this one straight up, to be honest. It's hard to bet against Brady, but I just feel like losing Godwin, losing Antonio Brown, 2 other offensive linemen are banged up. I think that's just a lot to come back from. And, it just feels like a game Aaron Donald's just constantly in Brady's face,
Right.
And then Chiefs, yeah. I love Andy Reid from his Philly days. I'll always root for Chiefs are my second team. Whenever the Eagles are out, I'll root for the Chiefs, which is happening more and more frequently with Mahomes and Reid in there. But yeah, I mean, they played earlier this year. The Bills smoked them, but the Chiefs defense has just transformed since then. So
yeah,
I don't necessarily think that it's going to be a low scoring game, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout like it was when the first time these two teams played earlier this year.
Yeah, no, definitely a different team. I mean, KC really has it going, here for several weeks now. I mean, they've been rolling. So yeah, hopefully, I don't know. I hate to say I'm rooting for the Rams, but if you've got money on them, let's go Rams. I'm actually probably not betting either one of these games today. Kind of a gut punch yesterday on the Packers future. For those of you that have been following for a while, had a Packers future, had a Michigan future, as well that I thought looked pretty good. We know how that ended with Georgia.
Oh.
And then in the CFL, I had a future on Hamilton, and they blew that game in the Grey Cup. So it's been pretty disastrous for me as far as futures go. But yeah, that's pretty well it. We just wanted to come on, show you guys some plus EV plays that are out there. Matt go over some player props, and we'll continue to do this. Not sure how many we'll do together. It worked out. We were both free today at this time, so we were able to do it. But just be on the lookout for live streams on the YouTube channel. Check those out. Check out OddsJam on Twitter at OddsJam, and then look for tweets from the both of us on Twitter anytime we're going to go live. And again, any questions, email us, contact@oddsjam.com. Don't forget, take advantage of all the sign-up bonuses in your state in the links below. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, thank you.